So, to be a little provocative for a moment, I think the facts in the Trump University case are clear enough. It was a scam, and Trump is deflecting, right? So, would the ruling have been different if the judge had a different ethnicity? Well, I hope not. But it's a little curious to me that accusing an Hispanic judge of racial bias is a horrible injustice, whereas accusing a white judge of racial bias is the core of a theory taught in university courses all around the continent. Can we get some consistency here? Let's do a reality check. Okay? Trump has been railing against Hispanics for months. I really don't think it's so outlandish to suggest that this might affect the ruling. When you deny this, what you're really doing is pushing this thoroughly debunked justice is blind model of legal theory. It's just not right. Not as a way to describe how the legal system actually works in reality. Rather, we have something called critical legal theory that explains the decisions made in courtrooms in terms of things like racial and gender biases, class analysis, ideological positions. Judges don't exist in a vacuum. Their opinions come out in their rulings. So would that mean that the ruling is invalid? No. It would mean that there are consequences for running your mouth off. When a racist black judge, when a racist white judge makes a ruling against a black person, we have a legal theory that describes that, right? It's called critical legal theory. So what is critical legal theory? Well, critical legal theory is the idea that biases will affect a judge's ruling, more so than evidence will, right? So that may come out in terms of things like class or race or gender, right? So you may have, it surprises no one to suggest that the law comes down on the side of the wealthy more often than it does on the side of the poor, right? It comes down on the side of the powerful more often than the side of the less powerful. It comes down on insiders more often than outsiders, whites more often than blacks, etc., right? We all agree with that. But then somehow when you have an Hispanic judge and a white defendant, we expect justice to be blind. And there's a humongous furor over it, and everything else, right? If the situation was reversed, if the judge had been saying all kinds of racist things, everyone would take it for granted that his biases had something to do with the outcome. So I think that the Republican response to this is as rooted in a rejection of critical legal theory, as it is in a rejection of racist statements. Because the truth is that what Trump has said about the case is something that you would expect a modern leftist to say. It's a very left-wing analysis of the legal system. So, it's more consistent to suggest that, it's just another example of the Republican power hierarchy, not being able to deal with this guy, and his positions just not aligning with the Republican Party, right? So that's what I have to say about that. It's again, it's not to suggest that the judge was wrong. I think anybody looking at the case can agree very quickly that the judge was, the judge did not err in his decision. But maybe we can look at it at a different way, right? If the judge was, rich white guy, one of Trump's golfing buddies or something, and that does happen, right? that's the whole critical legal theory analysis, then he would have ruled on it in favor of Trump, right? And then we could have said, um, this ruling came down the way it did because Trump is a member of a certain class, and the old boys club looks out for itself, right? And his argument, while rather weak, just exposes that, right? So it's not the argument that Trump is presenting is wrong, but I don't think it's fundamentally outlandish. And I mean, it may not even be wrong in the sense that if it was a different judge, the judge might have ruled differently, right? It wouldn't mean the judge may have ruled incorrectly if it was a different judge. So justice is not blind. Judges don't. This whole idea that judges look at evidence and weigh it irrespective. That's not how the legal system works. And the only people that would argue, ironically, that is how the legal system works are, right-wing Republicans. Now, in 2016, those are the only people that would ever make that argument. Are the most ideologically entrenched right-wingers, which is what's happening, right? I haven't seen it yet, but I would love to see a critical legal theorist go after what Trump has said. While, I mean, the critical legal theory is as much about power hierarchy, right? And I know the obvious takedown is, Trump is a wealthy guy, a wealthy white male, this whole hierarchy thing. But I mean, let's look at it from a broader perspective here. Let's look at it from the perspective of biases, right? You can be outside of the, even the prime. I mean, like, have you seen a picture of the judge? The judge it's pasty white. He's a pasty white guy. Like, this isn't like some dark-skinned Mexican ruling. No, this is a pasty white guy. So, it's not quite the power imbalances aren't quite as clear as you might suggest, right? So I would like to see a critical legal theorist go after this and try to analyze it, even just as from a devil's advocate point of view, and see what kind of argument they can pull out of it, because that is essentially what he's presenting, right? It may be a little muddled. I'll grant you that. I'll grant you it's muddled, but it's essentially a critical legal theory argument, which is very much a left-wing position, right? Sorry, people that want to just say he's a racist. That's it. That's not really what I got out of it, right? I mean, it's true, right? He is making a ridiculous argument, right? But it's more like I'm running for office. How do I get out of this mess, right? If the I don't watch the media, like I don't watch TV. I don't know what kind of media this is generated, but I mean the whole Trump University thing. If you really look into it, that's enough to disqualify him. Like if we had if the United States was Iran, Trump would not be allowed to run, right? Not that that's an argument for the Iranian system or anything, but I'm just saying, like staunchly dequalifying, right? So I mean, it's more like how do I get out of this? And let's blame the Mexicans, right? Even though it's like he's pasty white, right? But I mean, it's more stupid than racist, right? It's just like a really bad argument, right? But I would still nonetheless like to hear a critical race theorist, or a critical legal theorist, not a CRT theorist, but a critical legal theorist, really flesh this out and explore it and explain why it is that the argument, while obviously disingenuous, is actually at the crux of, contemporary legal theory on the left. Actually is, right?